There is something really special about living on an old homestead. So this house was built in 1900. I think the barn was built earlier than that. And I know a lot of you have been kind of wanting more of a tour of our place. I plan to do that sometime, but today I'm going to take you into the barn and show you something pretty special, at least pretty special to us. So earlier this year, I took you all along when we planted our potatoes in straw. It was a new technique we tried. Y'all wanted to know the outcome of that. Today we are planning to harvest the potatoes and store them for the winter. This is actually the first time I am storing potatoes. Oddly enough, simply because it's something we don't eat just tons of because it's a starchy, high-carb food, but it is a staple in a food supply. And so earlier this year, I was hearing different warnings about more possible food shortages. So I tried to plant more in the garden, and now we are ready to reap the harvest.
Who comes here? Where were you at?
At Bender's and I got a cookie.
Buddy.
So the year 2020 reminded us how fragile our economy can be. And I mean more like the supply chain of things. We get so much shipped from other countries. We rely on our stores, and all it takes is that supply chain to be shut down, maybe a few natural disasters or a worldwide pandemic as we saw, and a couple panic buys and suddenly the stores are just wiped out. And it's not something that I'm just paranoid about or super panicky about. I just got to thinking, I'm like, you know what? The way my culture has done things for generations isn't quite such a bad idea. And by that I mean lots of canning, lots of freezing, putting food away. Before, I just was never a fan of canning and freezing. It just is so much work. And I'm like, I can just go to the store and buy it. Why not just can and freeze a few things that we really like that taste homemade? But the convenience of the store is nice, right? However, this year I've kind of changed my mindset. I've been doing a lot more canning and freezing, storing up food in our basement in case things do kind of go sideways. We are prepared, hopefully. And I'm going to be sharing some of that stuff with you, with like canning, freezing, some of the prep work we've been doing. And with that whole mindset, we've kind of been shifting. I'm like, you know what, it would be nice to just, be more reliant and more self-sufficient in many different ways. We live on the perfect location to do so. We have our farm here. I have been gardening every year, but not just everything. And I'd like to get better at gardening and so on. But anyway, in the process of that whole mindset, I just got to like looking at our farm in a new light. And I just began to realize, the old timers back in the 1900s, before they had like the fridges and everything, they prepped everything to be self-sustaining and self-sufficient. And there's so many little intricacies on this farm that I knew about, but never really admired and respected like I do now. And I'll show you some of those today. This barn is very intriguing, very unique. It still needs a lot of work, but we do want to fix things up, start getting pigs, various animals. You can see we can kind of be just throwing some of our junk in here. This used to be like a cow stanchion, as you can see behind me. We went and cut off all the cow stanchion bars, but they used to stand in here to be milked. But what I would love to do is if we could like actually knock all the cement down and make this level so it's much easier to walk to the back where the cattle or pigs or whatever we're going to get are back here. Anyway, but let me show you our little treasure in this barn. Sometime I need to give you a complete tour of this old barn, especially the loft. The loft is really awesome. But we're going to take you into the root cellar, which is built into the back part of the barn. It's underneath our barn hill. And let me just show you the kind of dangerous situation we have going on here. We want to redo all the electrical in the barn. It shouldn't be too difficult because it's getting pretty old. See if I can keep from electrocuting myself. This actually still works. All right, that should turn on the little light in here. And here is the adorable little door that goes into our root cellar. Whoa, isn't it cool in here?
Whoa, yeah.
Isn't this just the most adorable little place? I used to be kind of freaked out to come in here because bats, but people really knew what they were doing back in the day. And it's like this domed kind of roof that's brick. We have pillars here kind of holding it up. I'm guessing that was added a little bit later as it's starting to crumble. But it's holding up really well. Everything's stone. And then there's also this rack built kind of up off the floor. And this is, I'm guessing, where they like cured their vegetables. And it's just what we need. We need this to sit and cure our potatoes in a cool, dark place. And it's so interesting now that it's kind of coming back, you know, to do the whole homesteading thing, to be self-sustaining, and you start looking back and seeing the wisdom that all these people had back in the old days when they didn't have the amenities we have today. And this is just perfectly set up for what we need, so we are blessed. So what we need to do is we need to clean this up so we can put the potatoes on it, and then we're going to clean the rest of this floor up too.
And Mom.
What?
And then when we're done with this, we're gonna take a little patch and then can make this for my playhouse.
Also, do you want to see something really funny? I just laughed when I saw this. 1 second. Look at this! Ah! This is one fierce long stick, and on the very end is a paintbrush. Quite the interesting job. Has like a little brace here and a brush. And I'm guessing this is how they painted like the high up places. Like, check out this handle. It just goes on forever. Ah, I love people and their ingenuity. Okay, here's another grate.
When I've seen the glory of the coming of the Lord, you are speaking truth to power. You are laying down so
Good.
you're planting
Where your feet are.
Oh, that is a goofy
till
looking one.
the wine is poured.
Look, there's some.
Your peace
That is a silly goofy one. Is this a good one, Dad?
I think so.
I've seen you in
Mom, watch out, watch out.
early with quiet
Yeah, I better watch out.
you are mothering and feeding we are
there's a bunch.
That was so good one.
your gentle love
Is
is
this a green one?
patient. You will never fade or tire.
Wow, buddy.
Your
that big
peace
one.
will make us one.
Those are two big ones. I can't believe it.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Your peace will make us one.
There'll be some more here, I think.
Oh, look at these up. Here's a giant one.
Yeah.
Wow. These are so cool.
What would you say are the pros and cons? Planting in straw.
It's easier to dig out.
Daddy.
Seems like the bugs can get into them a little bit more. Your potato, you don't have nice rows of potatoes. It turns into a patch, which, as you can tell, we're just digging our way across. There's some good ones.
Yeah. Woo. Here. Tom. Oh, look, Daddy, some more right here.
See, there's part of the old, what's left of the old seed one. That grew the plant.
That's a funny one.
Gonna bring the bucket over here, buddy?
The color looks like Sander. Hello.
What did you find?
It's a big potato.
Uh-huh.
Here's a ginormous one.
Whoa. That is a big one.
A ginormous.
A quick break to thank our sponsor Skillshare. As I mentioned before in some of my videos, I'm trying to be more intentional about my time, about slowing down, enjoying life, and being more productive when I am working. And a big part of that whole process is learning how to manage my time well. Because when I manage my time well and I can be more productive when I'm working and I can be more intentional, about taking time off to be with my family. Skillshare can definitely help you with this process, as they have thousands of online classes especially geared for creatives. Search for time management and you have a large variety of classes on the topic. Productivity Masterclass, Create a Custom System That Works, is a class by Thomas Frank that is engaging, straight to the point, and has many helpful tips for being more productive, especially for those of us that are running businesses. I especially like the class about mastering emails because this is a huge problem of me, is trying to stay on top of things, and he had some great tips for managing emails and archiving and labeling and so on. There are many topics you can study on Skillshare. Many of you have asked me about editing videos and photos. I would definitely suggest looking into Skillshare as they have a plethora of classes on the topic. So Skillshare is running a new promotion. The first 1,000 people that sign up through the link below will get a whole month free trial of Skillshare, and you can check it out and see if it's a platform for you. Really nice thing about Skillshare is they don't run ads on the classes, so then you have uninterrupted learning, so you won't be distracted when you're in your classes. Check out the link in the description and get your 1 month free trial today.
A few miles ago.
Oh, what are potatoes here? Wow. Woo.
So we've got all these potatoes. It was like 3 5-gallon buckets full, but there are a fair amount with spots on that I don't know will keep. So once they're cured, then we'll come back out here in about 10 days to 2 weeks, rub all the dirt off of them. I might come back halfway through and turn them over, and then we'll store them. Our biggest concern right now is animals, like rats and stuff. I don't know if we have, I think we do have rats. I'm not sure if they live in here, but we're gonna have to keep our eye open to try to figure that out. We're getting a pretty good harvest of potatoes. I'd say probably the best we've ever done. However, there is a fair amount of rotted places, different places where bugs have eaten at them, where I don't think that would have happened as quickly if they were in the ground. And they're pretty wet right now. We just had the tail end of Hurricane Ida come through and just dump, so it's pretty moist and everything. And another mistake we made, we should have piled on straw a little bit deeper. It's definitely fun harvesting them. It's easier. It has helped more with weeds. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's kind of pros and cons to each way, I think. And the other thing is there's parts where we didn't have the straw deep enough and the potatoes were getting sunlight and they turned green, so.
Oh, it's a little bit too deep.
Okay. So our garden is pretty much finished. Onions, they didn't do the best. I only got a little bit of those. Nolan dug up all the potatoes with Xander. Green beans were done a while back, and now just waiting on the tomatoes to finish out. And then we just need to, yeah, it's a pretty big weedy mess, but we'll see if we till it down or try to put more compost on top and do the whole no-till thing. But anyway.
We could almost start a compost pile back here by the burn barrels, huh?
We could, yeah. Be a nice place for it.
Dump these weeds there.